mini-treaty will now be around 3,000 pages instead of the 560 pages in the rejected constitution. The majority has the right to endorse the treaty, but you have no right to refuse a normal parliamentary scrutiny of this Lisbon Treaty. I have asked more than 700 serious questions on the interpretation of the different articles. You don't.
No one's been arrested. Maybe it's in the treaty. No, we don't have not yet. They will be. They haven't agreed. Everybody has to sign it without. You can protest on any issue you like in this Parliament, and that's fine. You can wear death masks and protest against nuclear energy. All of that's fine. But if you criticise the European Union and you want referendums in member states on this treaty, they will fine you, they will arrest you, they will do God knows what. And in the middle of all of this, one of the veteran correspondents who's been here for 20 years, a man by the name of Jim Gibbons, who does clips and outtakes for the ITN network across the country, interviewed me and asked me what was going on, and I said that the treaty was going through and that they were beginning to behave in a totalitarian manner, that we'd been accused of being mentally ill, we've been accused of behaving like Nazis, and this from people who call us the extremists. Well, that was the interview, and you would have thought that was fine. As I turned my heels and walked away, the head of the European Parliament's audiovisual service turned to this veteran journalist and said, "I don't want you to use that clip. The Parliament services, meaning the cameramen, are not here to record dissent." It was a deliberate attempt to censor what was put out from this place.
In December, and since that time, under Rule 147 of our revered Rules of Procedure, you have called before you 13 members of this Parliament to face disciplinary action. And it seems to me that this has been done on a pretty arbitrary basis. One of the ones that you've called, Cathy Sinnott from our group, I doubt has ever shouted at anybody in her life. Another one of the members that you called to appear before the headmaster's study, an Austrian member, was actually in Frankfurt on the day, so he must have one hell of a voice, mustn't he? And I ask, why only 13? There were about 80 of us involved in these so-called disturbances. In fact, you named me yourself in the Conference of Presidents as being one of the causes of the trouble, so why am I not being punished? I'm Spartacus. I'm Spartacus. I'm Spartacus.
Tomorrow, 11:30, the Prime Ministers will sign a final treaty none of them have read. They sign a bundle of amendments they cannot even understand. Yesterday, the Danish Parliament refused a referendum on a treaty they have not read. They breached the Danish constitution. All negotiations in the IGC and the Linguistic Lawyers Group have been kept absolutely secret towards many members in this Parliament. First, they undo 2 referendums rejecting the constitution. Then they negotiate in secret and keep the content under a new name. The Lisbon Treaty will dissolve the existing EU, establish a new state with joint citizenship, legal personality and all tools of nation states. Most laws will be adopted by civil servants in secret. Democratic deficit will grow. My group proposed to cancel the signature until you have finally read the final text.
There is a minority in this House in favour of a referendum, that there is a minority in this House against the ratification of the Lisbon Treaty. But this House must nonetheless follow its own rule books, and by popular acclamation to discard the rules under which we operate is indeed an act of arbitrary and despotic rule. It is only my regard for you, Mr. Chairman, and my personal affection for you that prevents me from likening it to the Ermächtigungsgesetz of 1933, which was also voted through by a parliamentary majority, and I ask this House not to vote it. Will you come outside?
You don't say that. There's no debate at all, and why? Because this whole treaty is being put together in secret. And that is being done because you don't want to involve the citizens of Europe, you're fearful that the more they find out about your grandiose plans, the more likely they are to vote no. And what's worse still is the downright dishonesty with which this whole process is being pursued. For Angela Merkel, in a letter, to talk about the proposal to use different terminology without changing the legal substance, I mean, it's Alice through the looking glass stuff, isn't it? It's the twisting of language. It is the deliberate attempt to stop there being free and fair referendums in European countries. It's your plan to act like a bulldozer, just to sweep aside the French referendum result, the Dutch referendum result, to pursue your political goals without taking the people with you. Well, I've no doubt you think that you're going to get away with it. But if you're proud of your European project, if you're true Democrats, then you join me in the call for let the people decide their own future, don't foist it upon them. I'm Spartakus. Spartakus! Oh my!
Przepisy dotyczące żywności to jedne z najbardziej skomplikowanych, a zarazem najczęściej wyśmiewanych w Unii Europejskiej. Co i w jakiej formie może trafić na nasze stoły jest tematem zagorzałej debaty. Za każdym produktem, etapem jego wytwarzania, transportu czy sprzedaży kryje się szereg skomplikowanych norm prawnych. Pierwszy przykład. Bułka. Aby mogła znaleźć się na naszym stole, trzeba wypełnić aż 5 formularzy. Nie można wypiekać pieczywa według własnego widzimisię. Bułki nie powinny być ani za małe, ani za duże. Jedna sztuka nie może przekroczyć 250 gramów. To wynika z unijnych dyrektyw i choć nie są to normy wiążące, piekarze się do nich stosują. Wzór na powierzchni bułki nie jest na szczęście przedmiotem zainteresowania legislatorów. Podobnie jak ilość maku, jaką piekarz dołączy do wypieków. Od norm prawnych nie można się jednak całkowicie uwolnić. Moja produkcja musi być udokumentowana. Muszę zapisać na przykład, kiedy otworzyłem nowy worek mąki i do którego rodzaju pieczywa ona trafiła. To wszystko ma służyć ewentualnej kontroli. Jeśli kontrolerzy chcieliby sprawdzić, kto i kiedy wyprodukował konkretne pieczywo z konkretnej mąki. Dla małego zakładu jak mój ta dodatkowa biurokracja jest niewykonalna. Nie wyobrażam sobie, jak to wszystko zrobić. Piekarza dotyczą także przepisy związane z ubraniem ochronnym, jakie należy nosić podczas przygotowywania precli w roztworze drażniącego łuku. Jednak w przypadku pieczywa większość przepisów i obowiązki związane z dokumentacją służą konsumentom. Kolejna grupa produktów to warzywa i owoce. Zanim do nas trafią, potrzeba aż 6 różnych formularzy. Dla inspektora ważne są też inne parametry, jak wielkość. Tutaj mamy jabłka odmiany Jona Gold w rozmiarze 80 do 90, pierwsza klasa jakości. Sprawdzam najpierw rozmiar. Tu jabłko musi się zatrzymać, a przez ten otwór przelecieć. To jest za duże. Ta partia będzie musiała zostać jeszcze raz posortowana. W tym czasie trzeba się też pozbyć owoców o niewłaściwym kolorze. Kolor i rysunek muszą być zgodne z opisem. Ale to jeszcze nie wszystko. Inspektor wyciąga refraktometr. Urządzenie mierzy poziom cukru. Można dzięki temu określić stopień dojrzałości owoców. Jeśli poziom cukru jest zbyt wysoki, oznacza to, że jabłka są już przejrzałe, czyli zaczęły się już psuć. A do tego nie można dopuścić. Zostaje spisany protokół oraz sporządzona notatka dla dostawcy. To oczywiste, że owoce muszą być zdrowe, ale czy trzeba tak ściśle kontrolować ich kolor? to chyba przesada.